Horsesmouth. My name is Sean Bailey, editor-in-chief here. I'm with Devin Kropp, our associate editor in our Advisor Climb program, which is our turnkey marketing program. And we get together each month to kind of tee up your own monthly marketing meeting and give you some ideas about topics you may want to be addressing in your future marketing plans this month, next month, or down the road. And then as we move through our meeting, we get down to some very specific actions that people are actually doing over the next 4 or 8 weeks through using a Horsesmouth's Advisor Client program. But we'll start at the top of the funnel, so to speak. Devin, our topic this month, Google Ads 101, what you need to know. That's a great topic because we're always finding that advisors are interested in digital marketing. A lot of people often think about Facebook, but you know, the real daddy of digital advertising, of course, is Google. So what can we be telling advisors about Google Ads?
Right. So that's very true. Usually when we talk about social media advertising, we focus on Facebook, maybe a little bit of LinkedIn now. But Google, is the world's biggest search engine, and they have their own advertising platform. It's an advertising platform that we're probably all exposed to every single day, and maybe not even realizing all of the ways that we are exposed to it. Because there are different types of ads that are available for you to create through the Google Ads platform. So number one, you may be more familiar with this type of ad when you search for something on Google, and then the first, 3 or 4 results will say sponsored or ad next to it. Those are one version of Google Ads. You may think like, oh, who clicks on those ads? Like, don't people just go down to the regular results? That's not necessarily true. There is a good click-through rate on those, especially if it's really relevant to what the person, searched for and what they're looking for. And I think this type of ad can be really beneficial for financial advisors. If you wind up using, location-based keywords and things like that. So if someone's searching for an advisor in your area and you pop up even as a sponsored result, that's what people are looking for, and that's what they want to click on. And I think that's one of the things that's really powerful about Google Ads is that you can have your ads shown to people who are directly looking for your services and your business. When we talk about Facebook and LinkedIn ads, sure, you choose an audience, based on your area and different demographics, but they're not necessarily actively searching for you when they come across your ad. With search ads on Google, they are actively searching for your service, which makes it a little bit more likely that they're going to click on your ad. So that's one type of Google ad, is that search ad where you're just coming up on search page results. There's also something called the display ad. You're probably familiar with this too, and maybe not even realize that it's a Google ad. That's when you're on, a different website, say you're on the Wall Street Journal, and you see kind of that banner ad on the top of it, kind of a graphic image with advertising a company. That's a display ad. You can create those graphic images, and then Google will display it on their kind of display network, what they call it. So different websites who have opted in to have different Google ads on their website. What's interesting about display ads like that is that everybody's will be different based on their kind of Google search history. So you can't choose where your ad is displayed. It's just based on kind of the user's search history of what ads they are going to see on a web page. So you could have 2 people on the same exact web page who are seeing different ads based on their internet history. One downside of the display ad type is, again, you don't have that control. So we've seen examples where, there's a really sad news story and your business is being advertised at the top of it, which you might not want to be associated with. Again, you don't have as much control over that, but they can still be really effective because they, have that kind of graphic image help catch the eye, and you are being displayed on other places other than just Google search results. Right. The last type of Google ad that I want to talk about is YouTube ads. So YouTube is owned by Google. YouTube is actually the second largest search engine in the world, following Google. They own both of them. But if you've been on YouTube before and you go to watch a video and you get hit with that 15-second ad before, that's the YouTube ad that we're talking about. There's also sometimes display ads on YouTube as well, which are different things. So those are the 3 types of Google ads that are available. They all have kind of their pros and cons of why you want to use them. I think the easiest for advisors to get started with is that search ad. So just coming up on the search page results, because you don't have to create, graphic image or a video that's going to be on YouTube. And it's much easier to set up and can be really effective, especially for advisors who are, most of you who are location based. So you're wanting to connect with people who are searching for a financial advisor in your state or your region or your area. It's really easy to kind of target yourself into that little space on Google. And again, people are searching for that information, that service, and you're showing up in their results right then and there. So that's usually where I would recommend advisors start, is with that kind of search ad on Google, which will help drive traffic to your website, improve your placement on search page results. If you've been struggling with search engine optimization, which we've talked about a lot in our advisor client program, and say you're on page like 7 of Google results and it's going to take you a while to get to page 1, this is kind of a way to pay your way to the top, which can be beneficial while you're doing some more organic search engine optimization methods on the back end. And also just will increase brand awareness. Even if they don't click on your result, they're going to start seeing your name and it's going to start kind of generating that awareness in their mind.
So how do you recommend an advisor proceed if they think, maybe this Google ad thing, could connect me with some decent prospects? What would you recommend?
So yeah, number one is you have to make an account with Google Ads to start the process. Just like any sort of digital marketing, social media advertising, there is definitely a learning curve. So I wouldn't recommend that anyone jump into this on their own without any sort of, basic training on it. Google itself has a ton of great resources that can help walk you through the process of creating your first ads. They have a lot of case studies and just instructions in general within the program. You can also go through kind of a Google Ads certification, or if you have someone on your staff who works on your marketing, it's probably worth, having them go through that process as well, especially if you really want to invest some of your advertising dollars in this, because there's definitely a learning curve. You have to do things like, choosing your keywords, understanding how the bidding and the budget works on Google Ads. It's just like, Facebook and LinkedIn, where it's kind of a bidding war and you have to determine how much you're willing to pay per click. And there's, all sorts of decisions around that. So being trained in it or having some training in it is definitely beneficial. So going through Google itself, I think is really helpful. And then also for our advisor client members, we did a campaign on Google Ads back in March. That kind of covered some of the basics to get you started. I'd still recommend going through some further training, especially if you really want to, make it a part of your advertising. We give you enough information to get started, but if it's going to be kind of your main source of digital marketing, you probably want to go through Google's own training as well to learn some of the tips and tricks that they recommend and a little bit more in depth on the different types of ads. We focus primarily on the search ads in that campaign, again, just because it's the easiest to get started with. And I think it can be really impactful for advisors because of that location-based service that you offer. So those are two options. And then there's also, plenty of third parties out there that provide training on it as well. You just have to kind of vet that and, see what it's like. And then also, there are companies who will run these kinds of ads for you. Again, something you certainly want to vet. We've heard, many stories about advisors not having the results that they wanted by working with these companies. But that's certainly an option if, you don't have someone on your team who can kind of spearhead this, because just like any other form of digital marketing, especially in the beginning, it's going to take some time from somebody on your team to get this up and running. So if it's just you, it might be difficult to really kind of get this going on your own. You might want to work with either a third party, a consultant, even, you could probably hire an intern, someone who's studying marketing in college who can go through the process and learn about it for you, because it does require some upfront work, some upfront training, but it can be a really impactful form of digital marketing, especially if, you don't want to be on the Facebook platform or you've tried that and it's not working great for you. It can be an expensive way to get your name out there, depending on the kind of ad that you're running on Google.
Yeah, and also at a minimum, if you're thinking of engaging a vendor to pay them, sort of monthly fee and give them a monthly budget, uh, just spending a little time with our advisor client campaign, how to use Google Ads to grow your business, give you some grounding to have knowledgeable conversation as you start to interview, possible, digital marketing consultants that you might hire to do that. So that's another approach. Okay. So now we're down to the part of our monthly marketing meeting where we're talking very specifically about things we're recommending. We're not just necessarily recommending. When you're a member of our advisor client or our master member program, we tee up a monthly marketing plan for you. And there's a lot of things that are in it. Not a lot of things. There's like, 4 or 5, you can pick and choose, but there's around 3, 4 things usually, right? So we have the month of June coming up. What are we looking at here in June?
So June, our theme is estate planning. So like Sean was saying, for each month we tee up at least one article reprint, which are FINRA reviewed pieces that you can personalize and send out to your clients and prospects on the particular monthly theme. So our article reprint for the month is Intergenerational Transfers, Helping Adult Children. It's all about kind of, estate planning while you're still alive. So if you want to provide, your kids with some of their inheritance now, reasons you might want to do that, how you might set that up, so they can get the money now rather than waiting. So that's kind of an interesting piece. For our master members, we have estate planning presentations and other reprints that you can kind of build a whole campaign around. I think estate planning is one of those topics that has really gained popularity in the last year or so, as people, especially with the pandemic, started to realize that they needed an estate plan. And so we have been seeing advisors who have had good success with giving kind of presentations on estate generational planning to their clients and prospects. So that's something that you can be thinking about this month. And then, going forward as well, adding that into your kind of educational rotation, if you will.
Right. And the webinar that we're recommending people do in June?
Right. So this is kind of differs from estate planning, but I think it's still really important. It's hack proof your smartphone. It's all about, providing cybersecurity for the kind of devices that we carry around with us all day that have, in many cases, more information on them than even, our computers that we work on has, so much information that we carry on our smartphones, how to make sure that we're, protecting them in case they're lost or stolen, how to, avoid hacks relating to your smartphone. It's a shorter presentation. It's about 20 to 30 minutes. So you can do it kind of as a lunch and learn. A webinar or in person, I think would work really well for it. Just a really great value add for your clients and, a way to connect with prospects as well. Something that they're probably going to be interested in no matter what. Everyone has questions about cybersecurity. They see it in the news constantly. And you can be that person who's kind of guiding them through that process.
Yeah, definitely a good opportunity. And you're right. People want to know about cybersecurity vulnerabilities for their iPhones or Androids or whatever it is they're using. And looking ahead to July, because that's what we do. We talk about what you should be working on this month. And when we look further down the road, what's the topic coming up next? So what are we starting to think about in July?
So July is our caregiving month. So again, we have a article reprint picked out for you. It's Understanding Guardianship for Older Adults. This reprint kind of talks about starting the caregiving conversation on the early side, right? Not waiting until there's a crisis before you start talking to, your parents or whoever, is going to be in that caregiving situation. A lot of our materials around caregiving are about having those early conversations before a crisis occurs. So, everyone who's involved can be on the same page before there's a caregiving sort of emergency. Again, we have a whole, kind of caregiving, presentation that our master members can go out and give, talking about, how to make sure that you have that plan in place. And then if there is a caregiving crisis, how to make sure that that plan is being executed. I think it's a really important topic that advisors talk to clients about. There's studies out there that say, most people are going to find themselves in a caregiving situation. And it's a topic that most people avoid talking about until it's too late. So most of our pieces, our article reprints, the presentations, the materials that go along with the presentation are designed to help facilitate those conversations earlier in the process, so you're not finding yourself in a situation where you don't know what the person wants and everyone's scrambling to kind of put something together.
Yep, exactly. And our handout for the month?
So for July, we have our key planning and investment deadline summer postcard. These are quarterly postcards that we recommend each quarter. So July, we'll cover July, August, September. Covers key financial dates and deadlines for the month. Those months, summer's kind of slow, so there's not that many financial deadlines, but we also include some more like fun holidays on it as well, or other things that people should be aware of going into the fall. Just a great way to kind of touch base with clients and prospects, something that they can easily put on their fridge. It has your photo and your logo on it, your contact information, kind of just a communication touch during the summer months where maybe, you're not in touch with your clients and prospects as much, something that they can get in the mail from you, put on the fridge. And are kind of reminded when they look up, oh yeah, like it was great that I got this piece. It reminded me of, X, Y, and Z that I need to do. So kind of just a passive communication touch during, some of the slower summer months.
Right. Good. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. That does it for our June monthly marketing meeting. Hopefully you're experiencing warm weather and spring in all its glory here in early June. But keep in mind that you want to continue to market. Sometimes putting on events and engaging your clients during the summertime is actually a good time because everybody else is not doing that sort of thing. And, not everybody goes to the beach all summer long. So anyway, keep on marketing, and we'll see you in 1 month when we do the July monthly marketing meeting. Take care, everyone.